Okay, I'm gonna give this to you because otherwise we should be good. Do you the bulletin about whether or not I'm father or son accession with your father? Because that's what's suggested by me. Okay, they supposed to be, yeah, but I feel like something about that. Are we good to go? I think we should be good to go.
Uh, Zoom, YouTube, fun technology.
The owl does didn't work. We had to switch it out. Just took a little longer.
Yeah, it'll just be a minute now. Do you want me to say something?
I mean, we can start now. We're good.
Good now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I said that like a minute, 2 minutes ago. 3 minutes ago now.
Good evening. It is my honor to call to order the 19th session of the 54th Senate of the Associated Students of Colorado State University. To begin, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the earth and the flora and fauna and human life that it supports, one planet, indivisible, with safe air, water, soil, economic justice, equal rights, and peace for all.
We'll now move into the CSU Land Acknowledgement Statement.
Colorado State University acknowledges with respect that the land we are on today is the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Arapaho, Cheyenne, and Ute nations and peoples.
This is also a site of trade, gathering, and healing for numerous other Native nations.
We recognize the indigenous peoples as original stewards of this land and all the relatives within it.
As these words of acknowledgement are spoken and heard, the ties nations have to their traditional homelands are renewed and reaffirmed.
CSU is a land-grant institution, and we accept that our mission must encompass access to education and inclusion.
And significantly, that our founding came at a dire cost to Native nations and peoples whose land this university was built upon.
This acknowledgement is the education and inclusion we must practice in recognizing our institutional history, responsibility, and commitment.
We'll now move into the swearing in of new senators and associates. Do you have any new senators and associate senators who will be sworn in tonight? Seeing none, we'll move into beginning roll call.
Speaker Taylor.
Present.
Speaker Pro Tem Reese. Present. Parliamentarian Camper. Present. Officer Kelly. Chair Laura Pardo. Senator Herrera. Present. Associate Senator Rodriguez. Present. Senator Melchior. Present on Zoom. Senator Bouchel. Present. Chair Miller. Present. Associate Senator, is it Batari? Patry? Okay, cool. Senator Monanti. Senator Diggs. Present. Senator Chalk. Senator Evelyn Rivera. Associate Senator McBello. Present. Associate Senator Archman. Senator Zia Amadi.
Present.
Senator Craigle. Senator Grenier.
Present.
Senator Gunso. Senator Lee. Present. Chair Myers.
Present.
Senator Leggett.
Present.
Associate Senator Lucero. Associate Senator Brannick. Senator Yoselin Rivera. Senator Alvarez. Associate Senator Barron. Senator Adelaide. Associate Senator Bachman. Chair Snyder.
Present.
Senator Tomas Sorrell. Present. Senator Tapia Rodriguez. Senator Falbo.
Present.
Associate Senator Tall. Present. Senator Salazar.
Present.
Senator Green. Present. Associate Senator Jalda. Chair Frisky. Here. Chair Davis. Senator Luna. Present. Senator Gray. Senator Pickerel. Chair Lutz.
Present.
Associate Senator Groot. Associate Senator Harris. Senator McLaughlin. Senator Gilroy. Present. And that is it.
With that, we'll move into the consent agenda. Do I see any dissent to the agenda? Chair Flag.
I motion for the election of the Budgetary Affairs Committee Chair to be put on the agenda.
Any specific place on the agenda? Or below ratification?
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, let's do that one.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? The Budgetary Affairs Committee Chair. Seeing no dissent, that will be added to the agenda. And additional dissent?
Motion to move the elections committee ratification, vote for the guest speaker.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Seeing none, that change will be made as well. Do don't see any additional dissent to the agenda. Seeing none, we'll move into gallery input. Do we have anybody in the gallery who wishes to speak tonight? We do.
You'll have 5 minutes, and as soon as I point to you, you're good to start.
Good evening, everyone. I would first like to thank the Senate for allowing me to speak tonight. I truly appreciate your dedication to representing the student body here at CSU. My name is Giovanna Paterno, and I am a senior within the Natural Resource Management program. If I may, I would like to first begin with the opening statement from the Constitution of the Associated Students of Colorado State University. We, the students of Colorado State University, hereby establish a government by the students, for the students, based upon the principles of equality and inclusivity for all, to participate fully in both its formal and informal activities, as our right to the liberty of our own education, our right to liberty of our college years, and our right to govern our own lives in pursuit of becoming better educated peoples of the world. Many aspects of this statement are under threat from executive orders over the past weeks. One such threat is our right to the pursuit of becoming better educated peoples. Just this morning, I met with my capstone group to work on our integrated ecosystem management plan. We all grew quite frustrated at the fact data sets we need to accurately do our project are blocked on the USFS website after the order to investigate any and all websites referring to the climate crisis. We cannot even access data on the Pikes Peak watershed and boundary layers. I am stunted in my ability to showcase all I have learned and accomplished at CSU, with the majority of my peers feeling similarly. We are being told to stop applying to federal jobs that make up the majority of our field because of mass budget cuts. My mentors are being sent letters in the mail urging them to resign. A time of excitement and opportunity now has closed in on us as a cold, dark tunnel leading nowhere. And this does not just impact me. 64% of CSU student body graduates with a sustainability-related field. We are listed in the top 10 green schools of the country. This is why people like me have traveled across the country and spent tens of thousands of dollars to study here because of this school's dedication to our planet. 64% of this university's students' body's right to become better educated peoples of the world is under threat. 64% of us who are dedicating our time and money to serve this land are terrified. So I come before the Senate to help us protect our pursuit of knowledge. What might this look like? Investing resources to find archival data of USFS and USDA websites and make it available to the student body. Setting up network events focusing more on local and state grant funded projects rather than federal. Helping our professors navigate conversation with us that need to be had, as pretending everything is business as usual with majors like mine is complete disservice to our education. Help us. Remind us we can lean on you for support in these uncertain times. Bring these concerns to the Board of Governors. We are with you, we stand with you, and 64% of us are eagerly awaiting a statement about this issue. Thank you for your time.
Do we have any additional gallery input? Seeing none, thank you for coming in today, by the way. We'll move into the ratification of the elections committee.
I wanted to first thank you all so much for getting the word out for the elections committee. It's been such an honor to interview every member. And I'll be bringing plenty more before you here soon. But yeah, I wanted to thank you. It means a lot to have growing interest in ASCSU, especially the elections committee. So I'd like to introduce you to Claire Van Deventer, Maren Johnson, and Alex Heiss. They've all been through a comprehensive selection process to ensure that we have a fair and impartial committee. So I'll let them introduce themselves a little bit.
Yeah, my name is Alexander Heiss, or Alex. I'm a senior. I'll be graduating in December, though, so I have another semester. My major is interdisciplinary liberal arts with a concentration in legal studies. And yeah, I'm excited to be here and be a part of this group in whatever capacity. So thank you.
My name is Maren. I'm a senior. I'm graduating this spring in political science and then going into the MBPA program. yeah, I'm excited to contribute.
My name is Claire. I'm a first year political science student with planned minors in legal studies and Spanish. I'm also very excited about this. I think it'll be really cool.
Senator Maloney.
Motion to put these people on slate.
Thank you. Does that motion have a second?
Second.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Seeing none, these candidates will be put on a slate. And with that, we can begin 10 minutes of Q&A. Senator Maloney.
Wait, no. Not for Q&A.
I'm so sorry. That's not bad.
Come back. Come back.
I'm ahead of myself.
Yeah, it's okay.
I was just wondering if I could ask what some of the questions they were interviewed on and what the general consensus was regarding them.
So the biggest questions we were looking for is what connections that these people do have within ASCSU and how they will be impartial if they do have them, and just general questions on confidentiality, ability to ask questions well within a group setting. And the answers were positive.
Thank you.
Senator Flora.
Hi. First of all, thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it, like on a personal level. I think that the elections committee is a really important thing. I'm wondering what excites you guys about this. Someone help me with the word. Opportunity. Thank you.
Yeah, I was really involved in student government in high school, and that was a while ago, and that was probably my highlight of my high school experience, and I would just like to be a part of a community that's similar to that in whatever way possible.
For me professionally, I would like to go into more Secretary of State duties like elections and stuff like that, administration and stuff. So this is definitely somewhere to begin that, as I've done like political work and less like administrative governmental work.
I've already been decently involved in ASCSU and I've loved it so far. I love the people, I love the organization, and for lack of a better word, I love people that do things. And I think would be another cool way to work with people that do that, and just another cool way to be in ASCSU.
And you yield?
Yes, I do the thing where I touch topic.
Do you have any additional questions? You don't take a step outside. And we'll begin 10 minutes of discussion and debate with Senator Montiel.
The vibes are vibes. Is there anyone else on the speakers list?
No.
Motion to read this question.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? With that, we'll move into voting on these candidates. Senator Montiel.
Motion to approve these candidates suited the unanimous consent.
Do I see any dissent to that motion? Seeing none, these candidates will be accepted by unanimous consent.
Okay, please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Claire Van Venture,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform
the
duties of my office to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
With that, the Senate will move into the guest presentation.
I'm gonna give. Just tell me when. I didn't get the clicker because I didn't know if it was working.
It's the only animated one because on this one, which just requires a click like that.
Cool.
Alrighty, hello Senate. Yeah. Help me help you. You might be wondering what that means. Straight up, I have an email, my recruitment email that I send most people if it's just a general question of, I want to join ASCSU. How do I do that? And so I'm thinking, I might know better than basically everyone. However, I don't know everything, so I thought I would ask Senate their input about my recruitment email. So next slide, please. For accessibility purposes, as GIFs don't move on a PDF, I feel like it's my moral obligation to explain what's going on here. This is a cat saying, "Don't freak out." All the ham with some heavy breathing. That's Tina from Bob's Burgers, doing her best. And this is the endosymbiotic theory, or the origin of mitochondria in our cells. It's pretty cool. So yeah, if you could open up the doc, please. Okay, this is it. Might look familiar, might look a little different. I've been tinkering with it as the year goes on. So first off, a little about me, who I am, and then a little thing about ASCSU. This is about in-depth as I go through the executive branch and judicial branch. Well, I am qualified to answer questions about them. I do fall under the legislative branch, and it's my job to bring in people to Senate, and ASCSU in general, but basically Senate, because we need it. Anyways, here I have how to join Senate. The biggest thing here is the distinction between the CRCs and your college, and I also added a link that goes to the list of all the CRCs. With a little thing that I'm working on right there for college councils or CRCs. I'm thinking of just putting, it's up to you and who you want to represent. You can only represent your college, and each college council, it depends on their constitution. If they accept minors, or if you're a double major, maybe they're not going to accept you because of that. For instance, my college council, the best one, the College of Natural Science, we do not accept minors to be senators or anything, or voting members on our council in general for our matters. But Warner, Ellie's not here to back this up, but Ellie said that Warner doesn't have that in their constitution for even being a major or anything in their college. So it depends. And then the steps. This is where everyone is usually going to look. I always encourage everyone to attend a Senate session before committing. You're going to lose your Wednesday nights to this, so you better make sure you're okay with that. Also, Senate can be a bit spicy, as I say. So making sure you're cool with that. If you can handle, I don't know, if that makes you anxious, watching people argue, then just a heads up. Then you're going to want to get elected, work with your college council or CRC to secure a Senate or associate senator position. And then finally, our last step is to meet with Brooke for the final step of the onboarding process. Here I have a distinction between senator versus associate senator, as I don't expect anyone to know the difference. The biggest difference obviously being office hour commitment and voting rights. Do I get into voting rights? Yes, I do. Fun stuff. And then at the end, on every email, I attach our constitution, bylaws, and then our old copy of our green and gold book, which is like a how-to guide for ASCSU. And then, yeah. So I would like to ask you, is there anything you would like to see on this email? Anything you think I did wrong, you think I should add? I'll open the form. Yes.
Can you send like a PDF or some way of this into the Teams, because it wasn't set out in the degree?
That's totally my bad. Then yeah, I will totally do that, 100%.
Actually, for the bylaws, you have to read the whole thing out loud.
All right.
I can do it if you want.
No, I got it.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you for your interest in ASCSU. My name is Graham Kelly, and I serve as the Legislative Branch Senate Recruitment and Retention Officer. I'm here to guide and support anyone looking to get involved with ASCSU. ASCSU is comprised of 3 branches. The executive branch, which includes the president, vice president, and their cabinet.
Legislative branch, which consists of the Senate, which meets every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. in the Senate chambers located in the Lori Student Center in the ASCSU office. The judicial branch, which oversees legal and constitutional matters through the Supreme Court and holds the Elections Committee. If you're interested in exploring other ASCSU branches besides the legislative, please visit the ASCSU office and inquire at the front desk or email me again. How to join Senate. As a senator or associate senator, you'll represent your college or cultural resource center, CRC like El Centro, Pride, etc. Click here for the list of all CRCs. To join, you need to be elected by your college council or CRC and then take the oath of office during the next Senate session. College councils versus CRC. Becoming a senator or associate senator for a college council or cultural resource center means that you will, and the rest is up to them to decide. Anyway, no. The steps. 1, attend a Senate session. I encourage you to observe a meeting to understand the dynamic of the role. Senate sessions can be spicy, and I want to ensure you're fully informed before committee. 2, get elected. Work with your college council or CRC to secure a Senate position. 3, meet with our Speaker Pro Tempore, Brooke. Our Speaker Pro Tempore will help you get started in your role. She's incredibly welcoming and a great resource. Senator.
Sorry, speaker giver, oh my god, parliamentary giver. Can you please like zoom in a little bit more? It's like kind of hard to read.
Yes. Let me.
Sorry, no, you can continue.
Senator versus associate senator. Senator. Senators get full voting rights, can vote on everything, must attend 1 committee meeting a week, and complete 5 office hours a week. Office hours can be completed.
Just kidding. Sorry, I don't know how to do it on Google Doc. And
you can go in the ribbon where it says 100%.
Oh, hey, there we are.
Yeah, you can put fit or that too.
Is that good?
Office hours can be completed by doing anything related to your position as a senator. This can be attending your college council, going to Senate sessions, or being in the ASCSU office vibing. Associate senator. Associate senators have limited voting rights, with them being able to vote on anything procedure related, but can only vote on legislation if they are filling in for a missing senator. They must attend 1 committee meeting a week and must complete 3 office hours a week. Helpful resources. I've attached the following documents for your review: the ASCSU Constitution, Senate bylaws, and the previous green and gold book provides an overview of ASCSU. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I hope to see you soon. Good vibes, Graham Kelly, Recruitment and Retention Officer.
Yay.
Yay. All right, okay. Thoughts, questions, comments, concerns, or did I get it right the first try? Yes.
It's absolutely beautiful. I just have 2 small things.
Yes.
So, towards I think the middle, you reference Senate can be spicy, which is cool, but maybe put in parentheses what you mean by that. So saying like spicy in parentheses, arguing, debates, however you want to do that, just for some clarity. So, because there's multiple definitions of spicy.
This is true. Yeah, I might just change that word altogether.
Fair. And the other one is also probably a question for Speaker Pro Tempore Reese. But for office hours, it says that like vibing in the office,
yes.
I think, which I know that's in the past we've had that. Is that still? I don't want to set a precedent that we're not gonna.
So the way that I define office hours during onboarding, we go through the 3 categories that it kind of goes into, which is outreach, professional development, and things that you're doing within ASCSU. So that's more of a technical thing. I would support an adjustment on that wording though.
Yeah, I can totally work with Brooke outside of this, but if we do want to touch on this, then we totally can.
I don't have a really good solution off the top of my head, so
I think
that's
Brooke is the best person to go
yeah.
to for that.
I hold my time there. I don't know if I need to, but
yes.
Originally I had 2 things, but then somebody took what I was going to say. I was wondering if it would be, this might create more work for you, I'm sorry, but would it be possible to maybe connect whoever is emailing you with the senators or associate senators of that office so that we could, meet with them or figure out like things like that?
Yeah, that's a great idea. I don't want to do that on my first email out to them, like, oh, great, you want to join, talk to these people immediately. But I think that is a good note that, hey, I'll connect you with associate senators, they can give you the information of when their college council meets, CRC, all that fun stuff. Very good idea, thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay, then I think we can go back to the presentation, as I have a couple other questions on there. I do think you closed out the book.
I closed it?
I think.
Yeah. Okay, 2 seconds.
All right, so got that weather, huh? Crazy stuff. Colorado's bipolar, I'm telling you. I can just I already know the next question. And that is I have 2 of them on there. What would you like to see from me, your recruitment and retention officer, going forward? That can be as broad as you want it to be. Oh, I think that's the next question. Oh, no, skip that. We're going to go to what would you like to know when joining ASCSU? And then, as is my moral obligation, we've had meditating, a little slide guide or slide out, and then hermit dancing. So, what would you have liked to know when joining ASCSU? Yes.
I guess like that there are resources and people there to support you, and it's also not as scary as it seems. And I think some of that also comes with what some of my fellow senators were saying about like possibly connecting them to that specific person. Because if they see another CA and they have a chance to connect with them, maybe it could help with that. Not saying that that's not something you already do, but just something to possibly keep in mind.
I think that you already did a good job getting started on this by telling them they have to go to one committee a week. But I remember last year when I got in, I didn't know when the committees were, and I also didn't know I had to go. So maybe if you could like let them know at some point during the recruitment process, like, oh yeah, here's when the committees are, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, you know what might be a good idea is if I put a section about how ASCSU communicates with Microsoft Teams, and then what you can find on there. Yes, you know.
Hopping off of that committee point, I think also what each of the committees do whenever it's thrown out was like, this does stuff, but I wasn't fully aware.
So, just a brief point of clarification. Ignore that I'm stumbling with that right now. Irrelevant. Some of these things are things that are integral to what the onboarding meeting themselves is. We go over points of contact in relation to like what goals people specifically have. We go over the definition of like what each committee is and what their purview is and what edits get sent there, everything along those lines. Just as clarification. Not that it can't also obviously be touched on here.
Yeah, so for that, I'm thinking I could put a little thing under the Brooks onboarding process, kind of what to expect, or, I mean, I do think it might be a good idea. Just to
send you a summary.
Yeah, just for committees and caucuses, because that is a big part of Senate in general. And ASCSU, I do think having a short description would be beneficial. Yes.
Oh, I didn't figure what I was saying. Okay. Sorry. Did you have anything in that email about like Robert's Rules of Order?
No, I did not.
Okay. That might be helpful to just touch on and put in there, just so they know like some of the structure. And I know that makes people anxious sometimes. But I know that definitely goes into the onboarding process. That's just a slight suggestion.
Yeah, no, that's smart. We do talk funny here, and it is kind of a little bit of a learning curve for people who are not familiar. We do give you your placards, but those are not all encompassing. Yes.
Jumping off to that, because it's not being an onboarding process, I don't know what that means. Can someone explain it? Absolutely no one. Okay.
Explain what.
The Robert the
Robert's. Yeah,
Robert's rules. You know how we use funny terms like point of information is one speaker Taylor once said. All of those things fall under a concept called Robert's Rules of Order. It's what Madeline's also tasked with in terms of keeping us in line with. If you have any questions on it or you want to read up on it, feel free to ask me. I have a copy of Robert's Rules.
Also, point of information, it's what like a lot, like the government, like the big boy government uses in a lot of formal settings just because it kind of helps structure the different meetings the same way.
It's basically just the kind of official language that we use when we do stuff. So when we have motions to do something, that's all following something that's been kind of outlined of what things mean and how to do things well. And I can go any more in depth, but this is not done.
I got so many answers. I'm so happy. Parliamentarian Canberra, did you have something to say?
Yes, it's parliamentary procedure. Just long story short, everyone but me speaking on that. It's the procedures that we follow to theoretically make everybody's voice equitable in the space and to take turns and to follow procedure so that we have an orderly Senate. And we don't exactly follow Robert's rules. We kind of have a mix of a couple different kinds of parliamentary procedure, and I'll talk more about that in my reports later.
Okay, anything else covering this question? All right, next slide, please. Okay, what would you like from me going forward? And a brief description here. This is the planet blowing up, which is probably going to affect someone's story in life. Mitochondria, definitely ochondria. Very good, very good. That's an F-22 Raptor. I just put that there because it's really cool. And then this is a little transport guy who's transporting a lysosome full of dopamine for it, perhaps. So he's bringing the happy chemicals to your brain. And he does a little walk, and I have to learn all the steps of that walk, and it's stupid. Okay, so what would you like from me going forward? Yeah, be as broad as you want. If not, then I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is taking it one day at a time. All right. Oh, yes.
I would like to reinforce you keep doing what you're doing. You bring a lot of joy to the space, and I really appreciate it. It makes the entire space a lot less intimidating than it definitely could be. And so I appreciate you and keep doing that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes.
I would just say that when I first started, first you bring a lot of joy. Thank you very much. Make this place look comfortable. But I would just say when I first started, I didn't really know your role. I was a little bit confused. I was like, okay, so I'm supposed to be getting help from somebody I don't really know. So just making that more known.
Yes.
I know this is a big ask and it's not very easy to do, but associate senators and figuring out ways to connect more with a wider range of people to find associate senators. But that's, I know you're working on that anymore, so.
Yeah, this is coming from my college council side, but I had the idea recently that, you know, college councils in general are having trouble with recruitment. I think a lot of that extends to students not knowing what a college council is and what it does, which does depend on the college council. I was thinking about emailing all the college council presidents, being like, hey, we could do something as simple as tabling and just having like what we do to let people know and then bring interest to that. Because college council is a great avenue to go through for resume building or knowing what your college does. One time we had our advisor give us a bunch of sticky notes and then try and tell us how the hierarchy of our college is. And that was a really fun thing to do. So, yes. Yeah.
Just a short thing, can you also email the vice president of my college? Because that's me. So I
Okay.
could pass it through.
I will do, yes. I don't know if this is gonna happen, probably, but I'm busy, so, yeah. Yes.
he said something about tabling. I would like to see that in the future from the Senate or just like the legislative branch in general. It would be nice.
Yeah. This is just talking from senators in general who are trying to do stuff have often like come to Senate for volunteers. Well, this is a good idea, and then they pass around a paper. I will say it is very hit or miss depending on people's moods if they have time in their schedule for that. But 100% that is totally fair. Okay, anything else? Yes.
Could I help you make that tabling thing happen?
You totally can. I do not want to do that. Well, it's just
I would also be willing.
cool. Yeah, if you're willing and you want to know, if you're involved with the college council, come talk to me because I do need contact information. Alrighty, next slide. This is kind of what we just talked about, so I'm just going to go over what's on here. This is me at my lab job. I always ask if the chemicals are safe to consume and what they smell like, because if I'm stuck in an elevator with a big box of chemicals and that thing breaks down, I'm not going to wait for dehydration. I'm going to take the risk. Anyways, we have a really cool dragon, and this is credited to our Senator Green. And you've got to be squitting me. This comes from our Chief Justice, Morgan Wright. All right.
Yeah. Interbranch collab.
Any other questions for me before I go? Okay, Ellie's here. He's gonna love this next slide. No? Okay. That's all, folks.
I don't believe we've ever had an ad hominem attack done through a slide before, but next time refrain from calling other college councils poo-poo.
All right. Good to know for future reference. All right. Thank you, everybody.
And with that, we'll move into executive reports.
Got a lot of reports.
Okay, good evening, everybody. I haven't had the privilege of meeting you yet. I'm expressing the Senate the Student Body Vice President this year. Again, part of my duties as Student Body Vice President is to chair the Student Fee Review Board, where we decide how much you all and the rest of the student body will be paying in student fees for the next year. And entailed in those duties is to come to you all every Wednesday night and report on the ongoings of that board. So yesterday, we meet on Tuesdays. Yesterday, we heard presentations from the Adult Learners and Veteran Services and the Health Network. The Adult Learners and Veteran Services is asking for a 67-cent increase, and the Health Network is asking for a $10 increase. So this is per semester. Just for reference, each dollar in student fees yields about $50,000 in revenue for these fee areas. The Adult Learners and Veteran Services is asking for the 67-cent increase to expand their programming, and the Health Network is asking for this $10 increase to continue to keep their counseling and mental health professionals' salaries competitive. We'll be voting on those next week, so this upcoming Tuesday. So if we have any quick questions about that, I can answer those right off the bat. If not, my email is ASCSU Vice President. Yes.
Did you talk or did athletics? Do they want one?
They currently do not have a fee increase proposed in their initial proposal sheet, but they present to us in late April. Any other questions? Perfect. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Joe Weir. I don't think I've had a chance to meet a lot of you, but nice to meet you all. I'm the Deputy Director of Traditions, and I wanted to come up here and tell you all about that I've been playing Rail Jam and answer any questions about Rail Jam. Rail Jam is a week and a day now on February 13th from 4 to 7. I would love to see you all there. I also wanted to give you an outline of exactly how that event planning has gone. So I've been working on it since about honestly since the beginning of the year. And I've been working on getting a sponsorship from Eldora. So Eldora is sponsoring, they're giving us rails, they're helping out. That's super cool. Working on the contracts for the snows being shipped in, and also working on getting vendors there, food trucks, different people to the table. It's been really fun. Yeah, so that's what I've been working on. If anyone has any questions about it, I'd love to answer them. Cool, thank you. And Sophia also is going to talk about the environmental impact piece. Sorry.
Hello everyone, I'm Sophia. I'm the Deputy Director of Sustainability for Executive Branch. And I know that in the past, one of the main concerns with Railgen has been the sustainability of the event. And so I worked on it last year and I'm working on it again this year, just trying to mitigate that impact a little bit. So after doing some calculations, I estimate that Railgen is going to use up about 34 gallons of gas, which is about the equivalent to 680 pounds CO2. And so one way that we're going to mitigate this is by contributing to the Arbor Day Fund here at CSU. So basically what they do is every single Arbor Day they plant trees here on campus just to improve our environment, help maintain our arboretum status, all of that stuff. And so ASCSU will be contributing a tree to that, and within about 2 years, that all of that carbon that we emit it will be sequestered. One reason that I choose to do this, I did it last year and then again this year, is because it just improves our own campus environment rather than buying some kind of carbon offset that doesn't actually impact our own campus and our own students. This year we also were talking about doing a water offset, and so this event will use about 2,000 gallons of water. And one way we're going to mitigate that is by doing an ASCSU water saving week. So this will look like whoever wants to participate can take a pledge to save a certain amount of water, and then we can just tell the student body about what actions we're doing to save water, and hopefully by the end of that week we can kind of make up for the water that we're using for Railgen. I do think this is a really fun event. It's a great way to get students together, and so I think keeping it around is really awesome as long as we are just conscientious of our impact. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, let me know.
Hello, everybody. I'm Eva Wilkins. I'm the Director of Governmental Affairs. I've been talking about this a couple times, but next Tuesday is CSU's Founders Day. They've invited all students down. It is, unfortunately, they're not providing transportation, so you would have to drive yourself to Denver or we're carpooling to get down there. But it is Tuesday at 8:30. We're meeting with Amy Parsons and Chancellor Tony Frank. And they'll be taking pictures. All the mascots come down. There's free breakfast, and then we're going to meet with legislators. So it's just a really fun event. It's just cool to be able to come down to the Capitol and meet with the legislators and everything. And it's through CSU. So yeah, if you have the ability, if you would like to come down, get free breakfast, meet with Amy Parsons. And then Manny is not here today. But this should have been on your calendar, but we'll be hosting a Know Your Rights training on February 10th, which is next Monday. Yes, oh my gosh, it's already next Monday. Next Monday evening in the LSC. That, like I said, that should be in your calendar invite with all of the details. It is only an in-person event. However, there's a lot of virtual trainings going on that if you cannot make it and still want to attend or want to be able to forward it, there's a flyer that Manny just put up on that window right beside the front desk. So yeah, if you cannot make it and you still want to know, please attend one of the virtual meetings, but we will be hosting an in-person one. Please bring anyone that you think would be impacted. Yeah, there's a lot going on right now, and so we want to make sure our students are as educated as possible. For our day at the Capitol is going to be March 10th this year, And so yeah, we're super excited. I'm starting to be able to plan all of that and reach out to all the legislators. We'll be going to committee hearings, so that should be super fun. But that will be March 10th. I will make graphics, RSVPs, all the fun things will be to come, but I just want to get that out as soon as possible. Thank you. Does anyone actually have any questions? Okay, cool. Oh, do you have a question? Yeah.
Are you going to send out the something about the next Tuesday thing, the Founders Day?
I think we're working on a graphic right now to post, but yeah, I can send out more information about it. I can just send one. I'll just send an email to you after.
Okay, thank you. I yield my time.
Perfect. Thank you guys.
All right, hello everybody. I believe this is my first executive report, so this is kind of exciting for me. My name is Josiah Ozor. I serve as the Director of Academics, and as part of my responsibilities in this role, I have the responsibility of appointing undergraduate representatives to all of the faculty councils. So I wanted to present all of you with the opportunity to serve on the Faculty Council Committee for non-tenure track faculty. It's a fairly low commitment opportunity. You would meet once every other week on Mondays from 10 to 11:30, I believe. And yeah, it's very important to have an undergraduate voice in these spaces, especially in this particular committee. Probably the majority of your professors or teachers are non-tenure faculty, so it's very important that we have a student voice in those spaces to help influence the policies and discussions that go into how those roles are dealt with. So if you guys are curious or interested in serving in that role, you can email me or just reach out to me after Senate. My email is ascsu_academics@mail.collegestate.edu. Or if you just want to learn more about non-tenure track, non-faculty, or yeah, non-tenure track faculty, specifically, you can email them at ntt@collegestate.edu. Yeah, thank you for your time. Great to meet you all.
Thank you, Chi. Thank you all for your time tonight. I have a few things starting with our spring or like the fall involvement expo in partnership with Slice is tomorrow. So speaking of things that you can volunteer for, that would be one of them. I am not going to pass around a piece of paper, but if you would like to be a part of it, you can feel free to talk to me today while I'm still here. Or email me. We are tabling from 10 to 2. We have like I think about half of the volunteers we need, so at least 1 or 2 people for each of those hours tomorrow. But we still have time, space open up for anybody who would like to participate in that. So that is the fall involvement spring. We're in spring. That is the spring involvement expo. I apologize for not coming sooner and talking about this. Andrew Wright, the intern for operations, has been coordinating this, and I had an obligation pop up next week or last week during Senate, so I wasn't able to talk about it. But that's my first thing. We partnered with the sorority Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated to do Meals in Motion. And so there's a box in front of the ASCSU front desk. So if you want to bring in non-perishables like any canned goods or anything and place it in that box, that's going back to their cause to give away that food to families and really communities in need. So that's a partnership with AKAs. Feel free to bring non-perishables for that. The next one is exciting. Weekly cabinet meetings. They happen every week at 5 p.m. That was the test. Anyway, cabinet meetings happen every week at 5 p.m. It is an open invite. We would love for you to stop by. We have so much fun. We have what they call a Baja Blast in cabinet. It's truly the Bajaest of blast. Yeah, so please stop by if you also like to engage in a Baja Blast from time. And I know you do. And you do. All right, so I'll see you at cabinet. My next thing is a organizational wellness update. I know I talked about this a lot last semester. Today, actually, at the meeting I just referenced, cabinet, we had a presentation from our mental or our health network partners, sponsors, partners for org wellness, and they came and talked about what mindfulness means to you. And they work with us through like breathing strategies and things that we can incorporate into our life to calm down, especially during what is right now in the world. So, organizational wellness update. And lastly, State of the Association is happening. I'm gonna come up here and talk about this every week until March. So just I don't know. I'm so sorry. Like just forgive me. But I've seen some of the people in the room RSVP for that already. So tell a friend to tell a friend. But State of the Association is happening March 5th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. This is going to be a night where we can commemorate all of the things that we've done this year, right? And so in your sectors of like how you've outreached to students or bills that you've wrote, partnerships and collaborations that you've put forth this year, that night is to talk about that. There's going to be some pretty cool people in the room. Blanche Hughes is one of them. A lot of the Parsons cabinet will be present or has been invited. There's a few representatives, city council officials who will be there. So it'll be a great time not only to be in community with those people, but to kind of be like the main attraction of what's happening, right? Like that night is about highlighting your work, the work of your colleagues, your counterparts. And the information to submit a speech or the information to submit a speech, I think you have in your email. Maybe somebody has it in their email alongside the RSVP form. If you also need that, you can ask me for the speech or the intent to speak form as well. What I'll say about speeches is that if you do plan to speak, I'm just asking that everybody submit like an outline of their speech so I don't put two people with identical speeches next to each other, right? And it feels like somebody's listening to the same thing for 10 minutes. So I want to make sure that everybody gets time for the people in the audience to really take in what you're saying, what you're doing. And also, if you don't have a speech or you don't really want to like write a full speech, that's okay. If you submit like an outline of a speech, me and the team of people who are going to review all the speeches and approve who is and who's not speaking, we'll work with you on that. Like we'll work with you on developing your speech, literally helping you write it. So that is time services that I offer to you for that, but I really would love to see everyone from all branches, like contributing to that event. So that's that. Any questions about State of the Association or anything mentioned at this time? Deadline for submissions. Oh, deadline for submissions for speeches is going to be February 14th. But also, I am willing to take speeches until the 20th. So if you submit a speech after that, it's just that if you submit a speech on the 20th, I would hope that it is already like fully formulated. From the 14th to the 20th, I'd like to think I'd have more flexibility, to work out like Kingston speeches or schedule meetings to do that with you. From the 20th to the 5th, I pretty much assume me and the WD-40 team, those are my team of interns, plus Kayla McElroy, who's the executive assistant to the chief of staff, will be really hammering this event in. But I am willing to dedicate that time to work with you on all the things. So I am taking speeches until the 20th, but upon your speech being to me at the 20th, I hope that it is like, wow, ready to go. On the 14th, that's like basically like early application. So yes, RSVP's deadline is the day before, so March 4th at 11:59. Those will close. But send that to everybody. It's literally an open invite. I think my most recent RSVP was actually Brooke Reese. My most recent invite was actually Brooke Reese. And then before that, I think the invite right before that was John Kafalis, right? So it's going to be a room full of people that you want to be in community with, or maybe you don't, but they're good people to know. So, any other questions about State of the Association or anything else? Yes. I don't know. I can't call them people. So, oh, I can. Okay. So yeah.
Hi. Just general questions. Can former senators give speeches as well?
Can former senators? We're aiming to have this event be tailored towards the work that has been done in like this administration. So like the administration of Salvo, Taylor, right? And so that's the work we want to highlight.
So clarification. So if you were a senator during that administration and then vanished,
Can Enoch give a speech?
Yes, Enoch can give. Are you not a senator currently?
Bestie, I've been saying this for a while. Senator Emeritus.
But he's still he gets speaking rights.
Oh, I'm understanding. Okay, yes. You're still doing great work this year. I'm sorry. My apologies for my ignorance and not knowing that. Yes, you can give a speech.
I'm so sorry. This is irrelevant. Point of personal privilege. My apartment might have just been broken into, so I'm going to put my updates for the Safe Center net in the Teams. Please look at it. Might be back. I don't know. I yield my time.
Best wishes.
Thank you. Best of luck.
Take a picture and someone will make the picture. Well, I just don't want my roommate to be there alone.
Okay.
Yeah. My roommate's there. It's not. We don't think anybody's in there. It's okay. It's not. I'm more just being anxious. So. Okay.
We're sending you love. All of us are sending you love.
Thank you guys.
Please be safe.
We're on call if you need.
And hey, if nobody broke in, I might be back then. So it's
No rest. Okay. Is that? Okay, boom. No more questions about anything. Okay. Thank you so much.
Moving now into judicial performance.
Hey, Senate. Nice to see all your smiling faces. It's so much warmer out now. I'm so glad it is because I feel like last time I updated you on my sink, it was freezing and my pipes were frozen. Not anymore. My sink's working. Isn't that great? Are your sinks working? Yeah. Right, Court? Are your sinks working? Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for the enthusiasm on this evening. Okay. Anyways. I just want to tell everybody, our court has been meeting regularly, and we officially now have office hours ready to go, and they are up on the wall, ready to go. So whenever you want to see anybody specific, they are there, and you can catch them whenever you'd like. I know that we also have a few justices who are interested in hosting their office hours in various places around the LSC, such as Rocky Mountain Student Media and Cultural Resource Centers. So if you want to catch them there, let me know and I can figure that out too. So we have that going on. And yeah, again, I'm going to get up here every week and say, come say hi, because we really do want to say hi to y'all. And also, we have some really cool stuff cooking in the court. I'm not going to really say what yet, because yeah, you see them all back there? Yeah, we've got it cooking. Weird things cooking. But I'll come back with some good news about really cool passion projects that are actually happening. Because I feel like I get up here and I say, we've got passion projects and nothing really happens, but it's going to happen and it's going to be big. And hold on to your socks because they're going to be blown off. So that is that. And thank you for your time.
And with that, we'll move into legislative reports, beginning with office hours. I just have one quick one, and that's Dad. Wave at everybody. Everybody wave at my dad. He happened to be in town tonight, so he wanted to come and check out the session. So thank you for taking the time to do that. I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Do you have stuff?
Question? Dad, are you available on March 5th?
I'll have to check.
Maybe.
Okay, I have like 2 weeks worth of stuff now. We had a lot of heavy stuff going on last week, and I told you I would have business for this week, and boy do we. First, I want to apologize for not upholding decorum last week. I think that it's a different transition from the other work that I do in other spaces where we use multi-partial facilitation, which is basically where we give thought and consideration to the different power dynamics and make sure that voices are heard appropriately in that way. That isn't exactly how parliamentary procedure works, and so that was somewhat out of line. And so I want to remind everyone that the reason we have decorum is for everybody's like safety and comfortability, and the point of parliamentary procedure is to give everyone a voice equally. I also want to recognize the parliamentary procedure, whether it be Robert's rules or any other form of parliamentary procedure, has been historically to keep people out who don't understand the system and how to come into spaces like this and use procedure. And I want to speak to that and acknowledge that that has been something that has silenced voices But we have an amazing space here, and we really are doing our best to make sure that students have all the resources to be effective in this space. And I'll do some follow-up with that in a second. Second, I want to speak to some amazing housing advocacy that's happening tonight. City Council has, they're going over proposals this evening, and so you'll notice some chairs are empty tonight because we have amazing advocates in the space that are going and gaining information there and speaking on behalf of students, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to put that on your radar. If you have any questions ever about going to City Council or giving public comment, I'm an expert, and I would love to help you get involved in that. And you can do it remotely too. So if you ever feel like skipping out on your evening responsibilities to go do that, I actually would encourage that. I need from all of the chairs of committees and caucuses to get me your bylaws because I know I said it a lot at the beginning of the year, but we are actually moving forward with new green and gold books. I want to try to make sure that they are in a format where when bylaws of the Constitution change, we can switch those out, and then we don't have a box of 100 wasted pieces, booklets of paper. That includes things like SFRB, LSAB, our caucuses and committees. I need bylaws from everyone, pretty please. That brings me back to green and gold. If anyone wants to help with the green and gold book, it's a massive project and I would love some help. Otherwise, it'll just happen slower. With that, we are going to be making, I have it in the works, a new parliamentary guide, just the basics of how to operate in this space, the lingo, a little bit about why we use parliamentary procedure, which I touched on a little bit, and that will be a part of the green and gold, but I want to get those done sooner so that new people coming into the space can know what's going on here. Also, we're working on the website. I know it's ancient, it's outdated. I wanted to show y'all that we have updated some documents. So the Constitution in a cleaner format, that's still coming because, we got sidelined by the fall of democracy this last week. So forgive me, we'll get to it. But we do have our new legislative template is out, which brings me to the next one. I would like for y'all to look at the template and make sure that all the directors' names are correct. And I'd like associate directors and also presidents and vice presidents of college councils so that that list is complete. If y'all could get those to me so that that can be redone, that would be excellent. Also, she was talking about the faculty council committee. There's a few different committees within that they need undergraduate representatives for. Last year, I served on the university policy committee, and the faculty council is really cool. It's like 150 faculty members, and it's really cool to be in those meetings and know what is happening at the larger, what we do in this space, but imagine it, faculty at the larger CSU level. The University Policy Committee, literally another way to get involved in policy. They really appreciate having undergraduate voices in that space, and it's a great way to connect with higher ups and for them to know who you are and what you're about. That was a lot. Let's see, did I miss anything? Please email me if you see anything in particular you would like changed or updated on the website. I'm going to be sitting down with Asa and going through and revamping the whole thing at some point. So I'm collecting information on that now. Okay, I think that's everything. Thank you all for your patience.
Howdy all. Couple of things. First, in terms of onboarding last week, people who signed the funding sheet last week got an email pretty late in the week from me, but I'll be in touch in terms of rescheduling a couple of those meetings. Moreover, office hour form. Did the office hour form kind of fumble and fail? Possibly, but the goal is to get it on the newsletter this week. If it doesn't end up on the newsletter, it'll still be in Teams, so please try to fill that out. Additionally, strikes will be given out if you don't text me or Hayden that you aren't going to be here, or if you miss committee hour without being in contact or using our general accommodation. But if you have any questions on that, feel free to ask anyone up here or refer to the bylaws. Additionally, in terms of what I'm kind of doing right now, I'm getting in contact with all the college councils, and I want to have a more uniform process in terms of how senators end up in space, and what kind of accountability we can look for from the different college councils. So if you get CC'd in an email, that's why. But that's all I have. Winner's bracket.
Moving on now to committee and caucus reports. Chair Watts.
That's fine. Internal met last Friday. Thank you, Senator Mary Bonanti. Internal met last Friday from 11 to 12. I know my committee time, I promise. And we saw 54, Bill 5408 and Resolution 5407. They both were endorsed by Internal Affairs and a few other members, and they're both discharged. And Senator Benanti reminded us it is Black History Month, so thank you for that reminder, committee. So yes, I yield.
Thank you, Chairman Heller.
Hi. So I just wanted to talk about what happened in committee. We did table both pieces of legislation that we received, both Bill 5408 and Resolution 5407. The reason we tabled Bill 5408 was because we felt that it needed more like significant edits, and we didn't feel like we had the time to like do those thoroughly. So we did table that. And then Resolution 5407, I went through and edited that for grammatical things. Thank you. So if you want to look at that, it's accessible in the University Affairs Committee Teams channel. And if you don't have access to that, come up to me. I'll give you access to it. And also, it just felt like there was like a lot of edits that need to be done again. We couldn't get through all of them, and that's why those were tabled specifically. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair Meyer.
DEI met last Friday from 2 to 3 in the conference room as per usual. We had a really great turnout, so that was awesome. Thank you everyone who came. We endorsed both of the bills that we saw, Bill 5407 and Bill 5408. Yeah, and my wonderful secretary takes really, really good minutes, which I have been slacking on putting in the teams, but I will get them in there. And so if you miss DEI and you're like, oh my god, I missed DEI, holy crap, holy crud. She takes really good notes, so read them. I yield.
Thank you, Chair Snyder.
Hello. We've got the accessibility met last week at 3 in the conference room. We mostly discussed the coming letter to facilities management regarding the buttons and the faces they're going to be rolled out at, as well as bits and pieces of what we can do next, on what we're doing next. I highly encourage you all to come to caucus this week. We have 3 positions we need to talk about. So if you are eligible for a position, I would highly encourage you to go and try for them.
Thank you. Moving on to Senate and Associate Senator reports. Senator Boyd.
Guys, I have Chef already. I'm so happy. So a few things. First of all, as Enoch has said, it is Black History Month, and intersectionality is really important. And since I am both Black and gay, and that are 2 things that I take very seriously, then I think that you should all appreciate that. And so, appreciate your identities. You're cool. Just deal with that. Secondly, people that have known me for a little bit know of my little passion project called the Week of Love. That's happening. It's really happening, and I'm so excited about it. They did not give me credit for it. They just stole my idea, and it's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Week of Love calendar. Monday is Queer Connections, which is essentially a place for you to meet the gays. They're all around campus. You don't see them, but they're there. Tuesday is Sweet Shop. You know what that is. That's a great time. Wednesday is my personal favorite in Arrow A space for people that are aromantic or asexual to just exist in community. Green flags and queer media is on Thursday. That one's pretty self-explanatory. And then, okay, on the flyer for Friday, it says queer speed dating. That is not happening. Instead, it's a date night at the Lyric. So don't go there expecting to find somebody. You still might, but like they're not going to facilitate it. So, yeah. So that's all going on. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Guerrero.
Hi guys. So there's a lot of great work and effort going into fighting against the shared struggle being experienced by undocumented persons and students. And I know you may not want to hear about this anymore, but our people are suffering as we speak. Humanity is a nonpartisan issue. Nobody is illegal on stolen land. I am receiving hatred and threats for speaking up and advocating for my people. For their sake, I cannot let you forget about this struggle that is very much ongoing. That's it. I yield. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any additional senator and associate senator reports? Senator Luna?
Yeah, so there's a couple. One from the SEC. By now you have your syllabus for all of your classes. Yes, hopefully. If you don't, I'm concerned. You should see if there's tests, if there's midterms, if there's things you're taking in classes, then you should schedule those. Because if you have to take an exam in the accommodations or the accessible testing center, they need to be made, like that reservation needs to be made at least a week in advance. And then if you need to schedule a final, I don't know specifically that date, but I think it needs to be at least a month in advance. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but it's better to do it sooner rather than later. If you want to hear from voices a bit more about any issues, particularly those regarding immigrants' rights in the communities, so that you know what you're actually speaking about and you're not just speaking it out of guilt from your heart, there are some protests going around. There was one today in Denver at the Capitol. That one went really good from what I heard. There's one on Saturday also at the Capitol building. I don't have the time right now, but I think it's like 9 or 10. I can find it for you. And then there's actually going to be one on the LSA Plaza on February 10th from 11:30 to 1. I really recommend if you want to do your due diligence as a student representative in student government, you attend at least one of those, or just attend anything in the community spaces and don't talk. Crazy thing to say, but don't talk and listen. And then you can talk in your spaces, but it's a thing that I see over and over again is leaders are talking over the people who matter because they want to show that they're the loudest in the room or that they have a position of power or a title or something that matters. They want to say, hey guys, I have a title, I matter. It doesn't, you need to be listening. And then since our state senators aren't here, I just thought I would bring up some of their stuff, but hold on, I'm pulling it up. Give me 1 second. Sweet Shop is a thing that's happening on February 11th from 6 to 7:30 p.m. at Breeden Hall. You'll see our lovely state senators. You'll see me. It'll be fun. And then they're also holding a Survivor Love Letters event. Yes. That's February 18th in LSC rooms 226 to 228. I believe that's like the glass doors in between, like right next to the SBC space in the LSC. Did I see the time? I don't know if it's at the time. It's from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And it's just, love letters to survivors and uplifting them and showing them they have the community supporting. Yeah, that's all. I yield.
Thank you. Is it Senator, Associate Senator? Associate Senator, go ahead.
Hi y'all, I just got here. I just became an associate senator last week, but I wanted to talk about Black History Month. Thank you all for speaking to just like a start change of pace, but the back office is doing a lot of stuff this month. I want to highlight specifically the fashion show that's happening next week on February 12th. It's featuring Black artists and Black models, so I think it's pretty cool and y'all should show up. Additionally, on February 13th, there's a Meals in Motion event where we're creating meals for individuals in need. And also, we're doing a Black Literature Book Club featuring books called The Passing, The Color Purple, Raised in the Sun, and Kindred. So y'all should show up and happy Black History Month. I yield.
Senator, did you want to?
I yield my time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Point of information, where can you find information about the
It's all on Doc's Instagram at BAAC_CSU.
Do you have any additional senator and associate senator before? Seeing none, the Senate will move into conference business with 2 hours on the conference call.
Sorry, hi, I'm so sorry. I just hopped on the Zoom, but I raised my hand.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Did Olivia end up giving any Safe Center reports or no?
Olivia might have gotten broken into.
She had to leave, so no.
Okay, I'll give it then. Sorry, I literally just got out of something, so this is off the top of my head. But on Tuesday, February 11th, i.e. this coming Tuesday, so like the Tuesday next week, we are having our annual Sweet Shop event. It's a sex positivity event that we host every single year. And it'll have information on not only how to be positive, but also how to be safe and like consensual. So it's a part of our like broader Consent Turns Me On type of outreach programming that we do. So that will be hosted in Braden Hall. It'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. on February 11th. And we will also have tables for like other things. So like if you're not like super into that, that's cool. We will also have like other opportunities and other things for you. And so please come to that if you want. There'll also be like a ton of candy out. And then, we also are still accepting submissions for the Body is Not an Apology program that is being hosted by one of our student staff. So I have sent out that form in the team. So go ahead and look for that. If you're interested, you can submit physical or digital art. Physical art you'll bring to the LSC, digital art you will email the Safe Center email. And that is all for now. I yield my time.
Thank you. Now moving into conference business with 2 hours on the conference clock. The election of the Budgetary Affairs Committee Chair. Do I see any nominations or self-nominations to this position?
I nominate Senator Diana Day.
Do you accept this nomination?
Yes.
And Chair Watts?
I have not one, but 2 nominations. I nominate firstly Senator Grenier.
Do you accept this nomination? A question first. At what time does the Senate Leadership Committee confer? That is, as of now, 9 to 10 on Mondays, although because we've had some kind of changing in the Senate leadership team, we will be evaluating that.
I cannot accept as that conflicts with my school schedule.
To re-clarify, because we're adding more people, we move the time based on your schedule and everyone else's schedule.
Okay, then I'll accept.
Okay. My second nomination is for Senator Gilroy.
And thank you. Do you accept this nomination?
I accept.
Okay. Do we have any additional nominations and self-nominations?
I'd like to nominate myself.
Okay. Any final nominations for this position? Then you can all come down.
Okay, Jared, let me figure out the best way to get you on the screen without showing our whole chat. There we go. Mhm.
So maybe if it would be easiest if we have Senator McLaughlin go first and the rest of the candidates step outside and then I'm kind of cycle forward.
Sure. Is it easy to hear? I have a speech, but I can also just share the typed up version.
Yeah, no, we can.
I just turned you up just a little bit, but you sound good.
Then I'll get started. So, hello everyone. I'm Jared McLaughlin. I'm a senator for the College of Engineering, and I'm interested in this position to increase my involvement with ASCSU and to better understand the financial aspects of this organization, which are frequently very murky and unclear to anyone that has not been within the organization for a long period of time. While I have not been part of the Senate for very long, I believe that I have been very active and productive within the body during my time here, and I believe that taking on a leadership role is the logical next step for me. My qualifications for this position include managing the budgets of multiple RSOs during my undergraduate time. In particular, I helped manage the budget of the hiking club at the University of Washington, which had over 800 dues-paying members when I departed last year. I also currently chair the Budget and Planning Committee for the Young Scientists Symposium for Atmospheric Research, which is a graduate student-focused research event for students in Colorado and Wyoming. In addition to prior experience, I possess exemplary skills in organization, data management, and analysis, as well as the ability to work well with diverse groups of people. My goal for this position is to uphold the ASCSU principles of equality and inclusion within the committee and ensure effective, efficient, and productive work. I also want to work to improve financial transparency both within and outside of ASCSU. I plan to follow the mandate of Bill 5217, which is the Financial Visibility Act from 2 years ago, that mandates that the Budgetary Affairs Chair work with the parliamentarian to ensure that the Senate discretionary budget is transparent to everyone within the organization. And I want to make sure that that happens and also work with the executive branch to improve visibility of the executive budget, especially during the spring budget development process. Thank y'all for considering me, and that's about it.
We can begin 10 minutes of Q&A. Senator Luna.
How do you intend on managing the workload of the Budgetary Affairs Chair?
Can you repeat that real quick?
Yeah, totally. How do you plan on managing the workload of the Budgetary Affairs Chair in correlation to any of your other responsibilities?
Um, I mean, to start, since I'm a graduate student, I'm exempt from some of the workload requirements of a typical senator. So I think having that budgetary affairs chair responsibility will basically put me at the regular requirements of most of y'all. So I don't think it will be an undue burden for me. I plan to make this a priority within my ASCSU work. So I might put some things on the back burner, such as my involvement in other groups. But other than that, I don't anticipate it being a problem.
Do you yield?
Yes.
Thank you. Senator Porter.
What separates you from other candidates?
Um, well, for one, I believe I have more experience. I mean, as a graduate student, have been through a lot more uh, RSO experience, academic experience. I have to manage my own research projects for my own degree. So I have to be on top of things constantly just in order to succeed at CSU. So I think that gives me an edge in succeeding in this role.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just
just want to speak up and saying that putting a graduate student in this position would also support the diversity and inclusion, because graduate students are taking a big part of their life in CSU, but they are underrepresented in such places. So I think it's
Is this a question?
a statement.
Okay, so discussion debate will follow. Yeah, the Q&A. Okay.
Speaker Taylor, can you repeat the statement?
That's a point of discussion and debate, so that will be following the Q&A if you have written down, so that's not a question that was asked. Do you have any additional questions? Senator Luna?
What was like the main reason that drew you to the position? I know you talked a little bit about your goals, but is there like one thing in particular?
I think the main thing that drew me to this position, I mean, one, it's open, but two, I'm very interested in how the finances of ASCSU work. They're not clear at all, basically to anyone. I've tried to get information about how the budgetary process works, how the executive budget works, and I've really only gotten half answers in all of them. And I believe that this position is one of the best ways for me to get a full answer.
I do.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Go ahead.
I know being like conducting research, I'm in a lab as an undergraduate lab assistant, and I know the time commitment, but you're conducting your own research, so I'm wondering how you can balance your research along with being budgetary chair.
My research is part of my academic responsibilities, so it does not really impact extracurricular responsibilities like doing research as an undergraduate might.
I do, thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Okay, seeing none. You can have, I can look at one of them.
Madeline, do you want Brooke to text me when y'all are done and I can come back on?
Yes, I was just gonna say I'm not exactly, maybe I can put you in a breakout room.
I'll
Let
just leave and have, is Brooke still there?
She's floating around in multiple places. So let me just, if this is easy and I can do it in a half a second, we'll do it. But otherwise, then yes. Let me, that's fine. Here you go. Did not invite you to. Okay, he's got. Yeah, did it.
You have 10 minutes to kind of talk about anything you want to and maybe why you want the position and kind of introduce yourself.
Okay, full transparency, I was just made aware of the position very recently, but I'm trying to put myself out there, get more involved. I'm interested in the Budgetary Affairs Committee in particular. I do have experience, a lot of experience in leadership in high school. I was DECA president and I was responsible for managing some of the funds, asking for funds, fundraising, talking to administration, things like that. So I feel a little qualified in that sense. I have never worked on a budget, haven't overseen budgetary affairs before, but I'm a very quick learner. I am in the College of Business. I'm interested in finance. I have a decent knowledge of accounting, and that sort of thing.
We'll begin 10 minutes of Q&A. Senator Mountain.
Senator Mraz. Hi, welcome. First off, so happy to see you up there and put yourself out there. Secondly, how will you manage this position in your personal life as well as your academic responsibilities?
Well, I think I would do a pretty good job of managing this position. I'm a very reliable person, so I'm told. I have the senator position, which is about 5 to 6 hours a week, which I've been pretty consistent at so far. And this position seems to be less of a time commitment, at least. And I definitely have time in my schedule for 2, 3, even 5 additional hours a week to commit to this. So I feel it's something that's definitely manageable with my schedule.
And okay, great. Second question, and what I personally think is the most important question. How will you uphold the university's beliefs and values of diversity, equity, and inclusion while you are holding this committee?
Well, I think I bring a unique perspective as a Black woman, I guess, and also just upholding the university's values in general. I'm very committed to being transparent and honest and having integrity in my work, and I think that's really important for anything having to do with finances. And I feel pretty good about it as it's something I've done before.
All right, I yield my time. Be nice.
Thank you. Senator Luna.
Have you by chance familiarized yourself with the job description for committee chairs, and how would you judge your understanding of them or your ability to fulfill them?
I think my understanding is not perfect of the full job requirements, but from my understanding, what I know, it would include talking to the financial advisor, and accountants, hosting committees weekly, both of which I feel comfortable and like that would be manageable for me to do. Sorry. Also, as well as just overseeing the budget in general and just looking at keeping track of what bills have financial, um, yeah, seeing what bills have financial effects. And I think I do a good job of keeping track of those, as well as the money that we've already spent in the Senate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Myers.
Hi, thank you for being interested in this position. Being a chair is a really cool opportunity. But with being a chair, it requires you to do a lot of like meeting facilitation. How do you feel in your like facilitation skills?
My experience in high school, being an officer of a lot of different student orgs and being DECA president, I had to do that a lot. I had to facilitate meetings with students and teachers, both being the person that says we're meeting at this time, knowing who the people I need to invite are, I guess, and I guess I feel pretty confident at working out logistical things, scheduling, and yeah.
Cool, thank you so much. Bailey.
And we had Chair Davis on Zoom, I believe.
Hi. I just am wondering if you are feeling confident or if you have any like concerns regarding the learning curve of being a chair that's like while also still kind of coming into your own as a senator in general.
I feel fairly confident, but I definitely not complacent. I'm aware that there is a learning curve, and this seems like an environment where it's really acceptable to ask for help, and I feel comfortable doing that, both with Senate and if I did become a chair. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does definitely. And then like are you familiar with the resources that you can reach out to? I just want to make sure you know.
Well, I am. If I did get the position, I think I would be more aware of the resources for the Budgetary Affairs Committee. But I am aware of all the Senate resources, all the officers up here that I can ask for help, as well as my fellow senators and associate senators, things like that.
Cool. Super, super cool. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Bachman.
Hi, as someone who is applying for this position, what is your understanding slash, I don't know, well, the basic understanding of the current state of the budget? Like, you come into this position and you should have already some, I don't know, understanding of the current state of the deals. What can you say about this?
From my understanding, I am new to ASCSU, but from my current understanding, the budget is not in the best place it could be in right now. From what I've heard, we're a little bit lower than we should be for this point in the semester and this point in the academic year. That's what I know about it so far.
Do you have any specific plans how to fix this?
Yes, I think what's needed is someone in the position who can keep track of the budget and properly track everything and not engage in any spending that's redundant or it's unneeded. And I know that that's what I would try to pursue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Senator Boyd.
Hello, thank you so much for your interest in this position, by the way. I have two questions. My first one is, what separates you from other candidates?
I think one thing that separates me, well, from some of the other candidates, I not all of them, is I am in the College of Business. I am actively taking accounting classes, econ classes, finance classes, so I feel like I have a lot of that information at the ready, and I'm like actively learning it, and I have access to a lot of resources from the College of Business that can help me with things like that. So I think that's one thing. Another thing is just that I'm a candidate that has time. As of now, I do have the extra time in my schedule for this position, and I feel like I wouldn't really be spread too thin. Yeah.
For my second question, I want to ask, what drew you to this position?
Well, what drew me to this position, I heard about it from Enoch, and keep a budget myself. I feel like I'm pretty good at managing my own finances. I sounds bad to say, but I'm passionate about money. I'm passionate about saving money and about managing it and building wealth, I guess. That's why I am majoring in business. And honestly, I was just interested because it would be really just a cool role for me to gain experience in, honestly.
Thank you so much. And I can tell you're passionate, so it's always important. All right, I give it.
Thank you. Chair Miller.
Hi. So being part of being a chair is knowing when to shut down conversations when they are no longer relevant, unproductive, or are violating decorum rules. How do you plan to ensure that conversations in committee remain productive and on topic?
I think how I plan to ensure that conversations are productive is to, one, be keeping detailed notes of what we've talked on already and what we've already spoken on. And if I was the one holding committees, I would make it a point to have a schedule and kind of stick to that schedule, kind of like we do here in Senate. Obviously, giving everyone a fair chance to speak, an equal opportunity to speak, without too much redundancy.
Cool. And also, are you familiar with specific requirements for financial bills?
I am not.
Cool, thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Do we have any additional questions? Seeing none, you can take a step outside.
Thank you.
Perfect timing.
you have 10 minutes to introduce yourself and kind of say why you want the position.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah, and I'm a senator for the College of Engineering. I'm very passionate about ensuring that our resources, one of which being monetary, are managed efficiently and effectively. As someone, which is why I think that I would be well fitted to this position. As someone who knew little to none about this role beforehand, other than that Senate receives a budget, I believe that transparency is key within this role. My goal is to create a budget that maximizes student experience, supports impactful initiatives, and ensures financial stability. If voted in as Budgetary Affairs Committee Chair, I would strive to the best of my ability to ensure that every dollar is spent wisely and for the benefit of all students. I have, based on my background as an engineer, I've been through many math classes. So I definitely know how numbers work. And I also grew up in a household of accountants, which has allowed me to painfully have to submit budgets every semester and then have a business meeting with my dad and go over these budgets and manage my money for the rest of the semester. And so this is why I think that I'm very well suited for this role, because I've had experience with maintaining budgets, knowing what the cost is and what are more beneficial than other items, and being able to balance all of this. Thank you.
Excellent. We can begin 10 minutes of Q&A. Chair Nolan.
Hi. So part of being chair involves knowing when to shut down conversations when they're no longer relevant, unproductive, or violating decorum rules. How do you plan to ensure that conversations in committee remain productive and on topic?
So another little anecdotal story is I've been playing soccer my entire life, and tensions get very high when you're on the field trying to win a game, trying to win the tournament. Like, things get very stressful very quickly. And in my role as captain on these various teams that I played on, the whole idea is to make sure that the people who are speaking out feel heard, because obviously they're acting emotionally for a reason. And so you want to make sure that they're being heard and that their opinions are being taken into account, while also maintaining the respect for other individuals that are also within this group, so that everybody's able to equally share their thoughts and opinions in a respectful and productive way.
Cool. And also, are you familiar with specific requirements for financial bills?
I'm not, but I'm very happy to learn. I was recently made aware of this position, and I am very ecstatic about it and would definitely devote all my time to becoming more knowledgeable about the process that this would go through and how I would better benefit this role.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Senator Luna.
Okay, I have a couple questions. My first one is, how do you intend on managing the workload of the budgetary affairs chair?
So obviously I said I'm an engineering major, and I'm actually double majoring. And like finding that balance of school life and like being a part of clubs and being a part of Senate here, like it's really, if something is important, like you can find the time always. That's my wholehearted belief. And I've been able to find the time to maintain my academics and do these extracurriculars, which I think are so important to not only my own growth, but also being able to help my community around me. So I think that as long as you are passionate about what you're doing, and it's important enough, that you will always find the time. So this is important to me, and I can definitely find the time.
Thank you. Additionally, what relevant leadership experience do you have, whether in this space at CSU or prior to CSU?
So I have been a part of many a club and committee, and in my high school experience, I was captain of my varsity soccer team for 3 years, and I was one of the student representatives for our student government. And being here, I've been a part of, I've been an officer for BMES, and on the publicity team for SWE, which are both engineering programs. And those leadership roles, each one has like definitely shaped me in their own unique ways and encouraged me to like become better about like from anything to like responding to emails to like being able to time manage to being able to communicate with others to being able to get all of my work done. And so I really think that I've had a lot of experience in leadership positions and that those have shaped me into being better suited to be a leader in this role.
And then my final question, forgive me if this is a misstatement, but what are your goals for the position or what drew you to the position?
No worries, I'm happy to go over it again because again, I'm very passionate about this. But my goal is to create a budget that's going to maximize student experience, support impactful initiatives, and ensure financial stability while also maintaining transparency about what this budget is going to, what it should look like, how I'm managing the budget, and how I'm doing my job. Because I think coming into this role, I really did not know much about this position. And so that is more about the budget and where all of our money in Senate went, which is why I think it's so important to maintain this transparency while also keeping the budget to where we are financially stable and hitting all of these lovely programs that Senate funds and make such an impactful, make such an impact on us and on our fellow students at CSU.
Thank you so much for the thoughtful answers. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Boyer.
What separates you from other candidates?
What I think separates me from other candidates is my ability to juggle a lot of things. So no matter how hectic the semester gets, no matter how hectic this role gets, I think that my experience with having to juggle many things at the same time is going to help me be able to juggle whatever is thrown at me with this role. And however it is set up now, I'll be able to take it on. And if it gets more intense, then I'll be able to handle that and continue to output a really good, efficient budget.
Good stuff. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Falba.
So in your opening statement, you spoke to the lack of transparency. How do you plan on making the budget more, in your words, transparent?
So one of the roles of being this committee chair is to hold committee, obviously. And so during those committee sessions, as well as when I would have the opportunity to speak in Senate, every week I would hope to update the rest of my fellow senators and whoever attends committee to help them know exactly what I'm doing in this budget. Let them know exactly what steps I'm taking that week and keep you updated every week. Therefore, everybody else can see the progress that's occurring other than just restating the same thing over and over again and y'all wondering if I'm actually doing anything. So I think it's very important to communicate and be transparent about what you're doing in your role, especially budgetary, because we receive such a large, important budget that we want to bring to a lot of different programs for Senate. And so I think it's very important for the budgetary committee to be able to talk every single session about what steps they're taking to move the budget forward and not just remain stagnant.
Thank you. Another follow-up question, if you don't mind. How have you personally gone about educating yourself about the finer points of the budget and its operations? And do you feel you're sufficiently informed to perform the duties of this office?
As I stated previously, this position and all that it entails is very new, and I really jumped on the opportunity to take a chance and hopefully do really well at this role if I were to be voted in. And so while I don't know a bunch of the finer points of the budget financial process, I am so eager to learn and so eager to move it forward and progress my own knowledge as well as everybody else's knowledge in this budget and how it should be run and how it would work. And so while I don't know a bunch of it right now, I'm happy to learn very quickly.
Thank you, Ayu.
Thank you. Chair Meyer.
So with being a chair, you have to
not only fostering that in this role, but also fostering that in a committee space is like puts other people more at ease and allows them to open up more about how they genuinely feel and questions they want to ask. And I also think that there's no reason that somebody who attends, like if I were to be voted in, if somebody who attended my committee were to like question what I was doing or question, or maybe like I think that questions are always good. And I think that like facilitating that kind of open environment in a committee is super important to me because I think that questions not only help me learn more about this role and what I should be doing better, but also allows other people to learn and be able to make more informed decisions later on.
Awesome, thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Minati.
Hello. Just gonna ask. Wow, I sound like Sammy. I'm just going to ask you one of what I believe is the most important question. How will you uphold the university's beliefs of diversity, equity, and inclusion when you take on this position?
I think that that is a twofold question. I think that one, it's important to uphold all of those in committee, and two, it's important to uphold all of those within my plan for the budget and within my activities through the budget. And so I think that fostering that in committee, I think it's important to foster an environment where everyone feels like they can share how they feel. And again, like question what I'm doing and question what they think should be happening and be open, and be open to sharing how they truly feel in a safe environment where everybody feels like they can equally share. Do I need to pause?
That was the 10-minute time limit on Q&A. Senator Luna.
Motion to extend Q&A by 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Second.
Do I say any dissent to that motion? Q&A will be extended by 2 minutes.
And so just fostering that environment in committee, I think is so important. It's allowing people to question, but not in a manner that they're encroaching upon other people's like rights and feelings and respect. And as far as budgetary, like my decision making wise, I think that the budget has such a unique and special like effect on Senate and all of like CSU because these programs that we're supporting are fostering our principles. And so I think it's so important to make sure that this budget is fostering those principles because that's its purpose. And so through the programs and initiatives and like things that y'all bring to me and that are brought to me for the budget, I think it's so important to keep that in mind that these principles of community are just like that's what this budget is for. It's to implement those principles.
Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Chair Davis on Zoom.
Really quick, how many people are left on the speakers list?
2 following you.
I'd like to motion to exhaust the speakers list.
Does that motion have a second?
Second.
Do I say any dissent to that motion? Then the speaker list will be exhausted.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that you don't have any concerns and like feel confident in the learning curve that comes with being a chair while also like kind of stepping into the role of a senator in general and making sure that those aren't clashing or cause for concern.
You 15 seconds, go.
Yes, I totally hear you out. I think that that learning curve is significant and it's something that I have definitely felt while going through double majoring in engineering. And I think that it's something I can totally handle. And honestly, one of my passions in life is continuous learning. And so I really pride myself on being quick on my feet and learning things quickly. So I think this will be a very positive and pleasant experience for me learning this.
Awesome. I yield.
Maybe folks, since we exhausted the speakers list, we're just going to go through the who's on the speakers list without a time.
Thank you. Senator Royal.
How will you determine that one bill takes precedence over another with, in your words, a limited budget, trying to keep it as efficient as possible when all we deal with is bills that are all so important?
That is such a great question, genuinely. I think it is so hard to like decide what to prioritize. But I truly feel that like what I feel that the student body brings to me and obviously we talk and sit, like someone came today and spoke from the gallery and was bringing forward an issue that the students truly like face and are feeling right now. And I feel like I will happily take that input from everyone who comes to committee, contacts me, all of that, and make my decisions based off what the students are telling me they need. Because it's not, at the end of the day, it's not my decision to like pick and choose what I want. It's about what is going to benefit the larger CSU student populace.
Sorry, I yelled.
Thank you. Senator Zigamali, finish us off.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask, since you were many a committee and many a club, do you have any financial experience in those clubs or committees?
I actually do not, but I've had as I spoke, I've had a lot of leadership roles and publicity roles, which help me foster my ability to communicate properly and keep people informed, as well as to like foster a community of openness and communication within group settings, which I think is very important for this role. And as far as the like financial like responsibility, which is hefty, obviously this is the budgetary affairs. And I think that all of that can be like very well learned. And I've had experience with that throughout all my life with my dad and my brother being CPAs and kind of living through that financial lens aspect and having to think about that constantly through my life. So I think that being able to take that plus what I've learned in these other positions and roles, plus whatever I'll learn when I undertake this position, that I'll be able to handle it very well.
All right, thank you for that answer. I yield.
Thank you. And you can take a step outside.
Thank you.
Do you have one candidate? You have 10 minutes to introduce yourself and kind of say why you want the position.
All right. How's it going, everybody? Assuming we're all pretty tired. All right, so we'll make this kind of short. So I'm Matt. I am a senator from the College of Business. I am a third-year business student specializing in supply chain management with a minor in accounting. Very fun. So I learned about this position through everyone's good friend, Gavin Leclerc, our current accountant. And he kind of described it to me. It's something that I've done before. In high school, I did a very similar position through my school student government at the time, which was less running a budget like this is, but more running a fundraising campaign that had a budgeting effect to it. I'm currently certified in budgetary oversight through the U.S. GAAP Association. I've read very, very fun job description. It's very interesting. I love that thing. So anyway, through my schedule, I have time for this. I find what's in the job description very interesting, especially the parts about the budgetary task force and what that entails. So, questions?
We'll begin 10 minutes of Q&A with Chairman Ryder.
How confident are you in your facilitation abilities, given that being a chair requires you to facilitate meetings and make sure that the conversation moves in an effective and efficient way?
So I'm currently the head of 2 committees in my fraternity, so I already do that a lot. So I'm pretty confident in that since I do have previous experience in it, as well as the fact that I actually have enough time in my schedule to dedicate about 3 to 4 hours exclusively to the budgetary position on top of the 5 hours I already give to ASCSU.
And how will you uphold the university's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, so first and foremost, I think it's very important to have a diverse group of people in a budgetary setting, as it is important to have different opinions on said budget. If a bunch of people, let's say, who are let's say I just get a bunch of friends of mine who are accounting majors, we're not going to have different opinions. They did bring different voices to the table and bring unique ideas to said committee.
Thank you, Ayel.
Thank you. Chair Miller.
Hi. So part of being a chair involves knowing that you shut down conversations when they're no longer relevant, unproductive, or violating decorum rules. How do you plan to ensure that the conversations in committee remain productive and off topic?
Okay, so I think I'd do something very similar that you currently do in UA, which is telling people, hey, we're getting off topic. Can we please come back to the topic? You know, we have a set amount of time here for a set amount of things. We can't spend too much time on one thing. And if we have a conversation that continues beyond that, we can table it to a later committee meeting or speak about it outside of committee hours. However, during a committee, you know, you have a set agenda, and the quorum ruling just told them to stop. Because I don't find it acceptable to break decorum at all. You know, we have those rules of order for a reason. They're there for a purpose, and to violate them, I think, is kind of disrespectful to the committee members' time, as well as this institution.
Cool. And are you familiar with specific requirements for financial bills?
First, a few of them I am, but I'm not fully in the know on everything with the financial bills. I know that, like every other bill, they have a longer period of gestation than resolutions and lexes, and that they require approval from more than just us. They also require approval from, like, the director of finance, for example.
Okay, great. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Breyer.
Hello. What separates you from all the candidates?
I think personally, it's my experience in a similar position. And as I said, I have done a very similar position before. And to further illustrate that, last semester I was the assisting treasurer to my fraternity, as well as our finance advisor to FSL and IFC. But beyond that, I also have a lot of time to give to this position. I'm not sure how much time other candidates have.
Cool. And then you just kind of said what your position. So what are your goals for the position?
My goals would be to make it run more efficiently, specifically in the case of getting bills through that committee quicker than they have been in the past, as well as ensuring that when talking about them in budgetary committee, we're focusing more on the fiscal aspect of the bill than things like grammar and the spirit, because the major part, in my opinion, of the budgetary committee would be to make sure that, like, the finances are possible as well as comparable to that bill, if that includes increasing said budgeting or decreasing it.
Perfect. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Luna.
How will you recognize your inherent biases in the role, whether as like a facilitator, deciding when to shut conversations down specifically, like how will you acknowledge those inherent biases that may appear? And like also that kind of might show up like in the bills when like you might have a bias towards the bill. How will you acknowledge those biases?
I would most likely do it the same way I have handled it in prior cases, which is for things such as an addendum, putting it to a committee vote instead of having dictatorial power over it. And toward my own biases, I'd most likely spend more time talking with the committee members than telling them what I think. I believe more in a listen, not speak kind of position when running the committees and caucuses.
Thank you. Senator Montague.
I yield to the redundancy.
Thank you. It's my favorite thing to hear from the Senate. Associate Senator McBell.
Hi. So earlier you said that you were planning to add diverse voices into your into the people you include in your conversation. And I was just wondering exactly how you're planning to do that. Like, do you have connections or contacts with like other councils, other members, other boards? Like, how do you plan on finding said people to be like the whole DEI?
So I am, as I spoke previously, I'm in a fraternity. Part of that is I understand there are several people in here in Greek life. Bringing those people, especially the ones in the historically African American and Hispanic sororities and fraternities, into my committee, as well as trying to bring as many people with diverse opinions and backgrounds into that committee as possible, be it through outside means or through the Senate. As well as prioritizing having those people on said committee.
Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Boyden.
So you mentioned something about race specifically, and I'm wondering, do you know most of the people in not as gender inclusive Greek life, or do you also know people in like gender inclusive Greek life?
So given the way that Greek life works at CSU, I know a fair bit in both. I know people in both the co-ed professional fraternities, as well as in the gender segregated fraternity and sorority area. Personally, I know more in the professional than the social.
Thank you, I yield.
Thank you. Do we have any additional questions?
Speaker
Seeing-
Taylor, I had my hand raised on Zoom.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Hi. I have two questions. I know you mentioned that you had an interest in the budgetary task force. What is your interest? And then do you have any plans or ideas for that?
So my personal interest is in the fact that, well, one, it's a pretty important part of the Budgetary Affairs Committee. Personally, I find it very interesting because it's a way to oversee the budget, especially the incoming budget, that does not involve a single person doing it. I personally dislike when budgetary affairs are decided by one person in a institution, as well as could you please repeat the second part of the question?
If you had any specific ideas for it.
Okay, so for my specific ideas for the budgetary affairs task force, it would be overseeing how money has been used in the past, seeing how we could make that more efficient so that we have more resources to utilize in ways outside of simply increasing the student fee.
Very cool. My other question is, I know you mentioned specifically Greek life, but just in general, kind of bringing outside voices into the committee. Is that right?
So one of the things I do want is I want the accountant for ASCSU to be in every meeting for that committee. Beyond that, I'd like to bring in voices from each college because I think a lot of them have great ideas and they don't often get to be heard based on the way their college's SLC may operate. I know mine, the College of Business SLC is very secretive about what they do. And they do have a lot of great ideas, but they're kind of afraid to come forward with them because of the nature of their structure.
Okay. My question's actually not relevant then. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Boyden.
I forgot my question. I'm not going to yield. Oh, how will you?
That was the 10-minute time on Q&A.
Oh man.
Senator Monty.
Motion to extend Q&A by you're going to say 3 minutes.
Do I see any dissent to that motion?
Dissent.
Okay. Does that motion have a second then? Second. It was a motion and second for a motion. I forgot that. Okay, seeing those. Okay. Then we will do this by a voice vote. All those in favor of extending the time of Q&A by how much was it? 40 minutes. Say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Nay.
Any abstentions?
Same.
Okay. I'm going to call division on that. So let's do this by class. Those in favor, clap. Those in favor? No. Wait. Yes. Yes. Yes on extending the time of Q&A.
I have a question actually.
Okay.
Information. Can I vote on this? Nope. Okay.
For clarification, you have speaking rights and no voting rights on procedures or on votes.
All those in favor of extending Q&A, please raise your pockets. Those opposed? Keep them up.
I'll rescind my motion at this point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Yes. Thank you, Enoch. We will now begin 10 minutes of discussion and debate on these candidates with Chair Miller.
Hi. So I just want to take this time to talk about my favorite person ever, Senator Jerry McLaughlin. He is one of the most dedicated senators I have ever met. Senator McLaughlin has written multiple pieces of legislation during his short time as a senator. The time that he's put into this role as a senator far exceeds the requirements outlined in the senator job description, and he does that all on top of being a grad student. He's also a member of the Legislative Strategy Advisory Board, showcasing his commitment to being involved in the ASCSU space as well as wider political issues, which is incredibly important in these trying times. He's one of the particular reasons I enjoy holding committees so much. During committee, he's always saying something that's of value. He's adding something to the discussion. He's always incredibly impactful in making edits to legislation. His attendance to my committee has always been consistent. At the beginning of the school year, I could always rely on two people being at my committee, Senator Luna, who I hope would attend because she's my vice chair, and Senator McLaughlin. Holding committee and having it run smoothly is a bit of a learning curve, and I have full faith that Senator McLaughlin has the committee-specific experience to ensure that the Budgetary Affairs Committee runs smoothly and remains productive. Chairing also involves knowing the bylaws and constitution, referring back to those documents when there are questions raised regarding those issues to best ensure that our legislation is as faithful to our governing documents as possible. Senator McLaughlin has served in ASCSU since the beginning of fall semester, and he has demonstrated exceptional knowledge of these documents, specifically during the University Affairs Committee meetings. Additionally, being a chair comes with the responsibility of serving as a resource for fellow senators. Senator McLaughlin is a fantastic role model. In fact, he is my role model, and I would serve, and he would serve as an excellent point of contact within the Senate. I have absolutely no doubt that he will take the same dedication he takes as a senator into the role of Budgetary Affairs Chair. We have an opportunity here to further elevate an already outstanding voice. I could not begin to imagine anyone more deserving of the role. I have never been so passionate about a candidate before in my life. Senator McLaughlin is an exemplary candidate, and I urge you all to vote for him. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Zia. Honestly, I was going to speak in favor of Matthew Grenier, Senator Grenier. But I also do want to say a couple words about McLaughlin because I was actually very impressed when he spoke. I'm really in between on this one right now. So Grenier obviously has quite a bit of experience. He's in the College of Business. He's worked in several financial positions. But then again, McLaughlin did tell us that he ran a club's budget that had, I think, 800 due-paying members, which is really impressive as well. So, yeah, I'm in between the two of them. I think they're both very qualified candidates. Also, our other two, Senators Diggs and Gilroy, were also great. So I've just been pretty blown away with this process, and I'm impressed with everybody. So there's your positivity for the discussion and debate. And you yield? Oh. Yes, I yield. Thank you. Senator Monty.
First off, just going to open straight out of the gate with this. Fantastic choice of candidates. I love each and every one of them. If any of them were to this position, I would be very happy and giddy and proud because we have a budgetary chair, and then I'll go to budgetary committee because I have to go there. Secondly, you knew who I was going back for. Diana Diggs, Senator Diggs. I can't vote, obviously, but I truly believe Diana Diggs would be a good candidate for this as I do understand Jared McLaughlin does have a lot of experience and is an outstanding role model and a great peer and resource for being a chair. I also feel like Diana is Senator Diggs has a lot of potential to not only grow within the position as a student, but I feel like this is something that if she were to take on the role, she'd do excellently. Something that she did mention in her previous statement is that she did do a lot of work in high school in student government as well as running her own DECA. And if y'all know DECA don't play. Something I feel that we also should take into account is the opportunity for growth. Because I know Budgetary Affairs Committee is currently going under a metamorphosis, and that I feel like this is a good chance to allow someone new to the space and new to overall Senate to potentially help guide that as well. So it's more fresher start. So yeah, I yield now.
Thank you. Senator Paul.
Thank you. Of course, I think we can all agree that all the courage required to come up there and undergo the grilling of this body is quite impressive. So I think we should all appreciate that as candidates. That being said, though, I think we need to look to experience for this. Budgetary Affairs Chairman is, of course, a place to grow, but it's more so a place to utilize your expertise and already gained experience because you are leading the committee as opposed to, say, being a vice chair or such. And from that, I think we look to McLaughlin and Grenier. And Zia Amadi brought up a good point that they both have experience governing budgets and the like. However, I think it's important to point out that Jared McLaughlin is experienced in our budget. He cited prior preceding financial bills and the like. And so frankly, just from that, although I would say they're about equal in experience, we should go for Jared McLaughlin. I yield.
Thank you. Senator Boyer.
Howdy, y'all. I'm stealing Brooke's line. Ha. I have a few opinions. My first one is that I believe that Senator Diggs would be a great candidate for this. I believe that she would be able to grow as not only as a chair, but as a person throughout this experience. That said, I do also believe that Senator McLaughlin, I don't know how to say his name. You guys know who I'm talking about. I believe that he has the experience, and I was really impressed with the speech. I think that he did a great job. So just keep those things in mind. I yield.
Thank you. Chair Rivas on Zoom.
Hi. I feel so bad because I actually don't remember a lot of their names. I just couldn't hear. But I personally am privy to the final candidate, Senator Grenier. Because of his financial experience, I think that while I fully agree with the fact that there is the opportunity for growth and learning curves, budgetary affairs is unique in the sense that it deals with like actual money, and so the potential for a learning curve is significantly steeper because we are dealing with legit money, and so I more so would be worried about. Not that I don't have faith in any of the newer candidates, I just would be a little bit more worried in that learning curve other than like a caucus or a different committee, which is where I'm coming from when I'm talking about these other candidates. So in terms of financial experience, I would say that Senator Grenier is probably my go-to option. However, if the Senate body does not agree and wants to look at other experiences, Senator McLaughlin is actually my favorite in general. So I would also be accepting of him in terms of like legislative experience. But I think when we're looking at budgetary affairs, it is so unique in that it is very specific and especially to money and finances. And someone who has that relevant experience is probably going to be the best candidate, especially when we're operating on a tight budget, which is where I'm coming from. I yield.
Thank you. Chair Wise.
In all my time in Senate, I've never witnessed an election an election where I've been stumped. I will speak to Gilroy. She attended my committee every time last semester, internal affairs, but she was active. No, she was a great participant, and I think she would do fantastic in this role. I think all the candidates are fantastic, and I've just never been this stumped before. It's incredible. I'm actually really happy to be in this position. I also think hearing a bill start with 52 brought me a lot of flashbacks that I haven't heard that in a very long time. But it was McLaughlin did his research, but I think whoever you vote for, we're in good hands. So I yield.
Thank you. Do we have any final points of discussion and debate on this candidate? Seeing none, we'll move into voting. For the Senate bylaws, votes on elections by the Senate shall be done by a secret ballot vote. Additionally, on this, only senators can vote. Associate senators cannot unless they vote in place of a senator.
Good timing.
Look at that. Good timing.
This is just a question for the body. Would you be okay for at least a short recess so they can count it? I'm hearing a lot of no's.
Don't we have to have a recess for counting?
We don't technically have to. We typically do because it just takes a little bit of time to
For the-
collect things and do the count.
For the passing out and collecting, let's all stay and then recess while we're counting ballots.
Yeah, that's what I would be most need for.
I second that.
How much time was the motion?
Y'all want to rest for like 2 minutes or 5 minutes? 5 minutes. Can y'all rest for 5 minutes?
Can you count in five?
What?
Can you count them all in five? That's a.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then the motion for a 5-minute recess after secret ballot.
We've had a motion to, once we have these ballots passed out, we'll have to have a 5-minute recess. Does that motion have a second? Do I see an dissent to that motion? Seeing none, we will do that.
Okay, sorry, I was. What happened?
Once we pass out and collect the ballots, we'll have 5 minutes.
There we go.
Well, to begin, I would like to thank you all for having the ambition to seek a position like this, especially with so many candidates in this election. I would like to give congratulations to now Chair McLaughlin of the Budgetary Affairs Committee. And we have a Chief Justice in the back.
Okay, let me get this. Bam. Wait, no. There we go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Please repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jared McLaughlin,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to defend and uphold
to defend and uphold
the rules and regulations
the rules and regulations
set forth by the Constitution
set forth by the Constitution
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
of the Associated Students of Colorado State University
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
and will rightfully perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Chair Watts.
Thank you. I'm going to table my legislation for tonight.
Then with that, we'll move into ending roll call. Senator Monti.
Motion to use beginning roll call as ending roll call. Anyone who are ready to go get on it.
Do I send a dissent to that?
Great idea.
Seeing none, we'll do that, and this meeting's adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good night.
Madeline, before we go, did you get my email?
Yes. Do you want your school email or your personal email?
My email for the legislation I submitted.
Oh, did I get your email? Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, I will.
Okay. Let me know if you want to sit down and chat. I would love to talk about budgetary things.
Okay, I probably not tonight because.
No, I know. At some point.
Yeah, I definitely will. All right, I'll talk to you later.